I think the most surprising news from this week happens to be about the U.S. with the big first cut, but yet a surprisingly large cut given the conditions that we're supposed to be in. According to Jerome Powell not long ago, the economy was moving along just fine. All those metrics that they used were showing that things were promising, yet they cut a half a point. And so that right there caught a lot of people by surprise. So does that signal that they're trying to cover up something, or something has already broken, or what? What was your first thoughts when you heard the news about that size of a cut after 4 years?
Yeah, absolutely. If we, just for an idea, if we go back to '08 and we pretend our economy got stuck, like I don't know if anyone's ever been stuck in the snow or stuck in a farm's cornfield or out in the mud somewhere, someone's lawn. What are your options? You floor it. So when you cut rates to zero, you are on the gas pedal to the floor with both feet. And interest rates were zero by 0.25%. They're currently 500% higher than that. Well, a little lower now, but that's where we got up to. So when we're looking at '08 to 2016, Obama's presidency, interest rates were a zero by 0.25%. You are flooding the world with money. You are attempting to get yourself unstuck without calling for help. See, that's the point that really pisses me off and makes me angry, is they don't come to the American people, their subjects, and discuss what the options are. We're the ones that built the damn economy, made America great in the first place. The government didn't make our country great. And long, long ago, when this thing kicked off hundreds of years ago in the United States of America, the government was tiny. And they truly did work for us and serve the greater needs of a people that live in 50 different states. So today, you're looking at a massive runaway enterprise that is destroying, to me, the American dream by its ideas that they're using to try and provide us with the American dream. So cutting rates, if we have such a strong kick-ass economy, is signaling that we're actually stuck. And here's one trap that I can easily point out that we're in, or they're in, the government is in, is, well, to get us this far and to keep the lights on in America, they've had to create almost $36 trillion out of thin air. And because that happens in a financial, mechanics, the gears turning and sort of thing, you have to then say, well, there's an interest rate on that debt. And the current interest payment alone is a little over $1 trillion a year at rates over 5%. So if you cut rates, let's just round it off to even numbers. Let's say currently the interest rate is 6%. That causes the $1 trillion interest payment, and you take rates down to 3%, then you have a $500 billion interest rate payment a year. You've cut how much it costs the government, which they have to print the money for that anyway, has to spend on the debt. So they're helping themselves because they know also, to me anyway, they can't stop printing. Our economy isn't profitable. It's like if I had a business, well, I do, but let's say the business, took in $10 million for the year, but costs were $15 million. We aren't profitable. So we borrow money, right, to pay the $5 million in costs that our revenue didn't capture. That's America since starting around the year 2000. That's why over the last 24 years, debt has gone from $4 trillion to $36 trillion. They're not spending that money building ski resorts in Austria. They're spending the money here in America. We can complain about the fact that it's happening. What we really ought to complain about is the government never came forward with a great solution, and they never talked to us and asked if it was okay to destroy our currency to pay our bills for a while. That's the truth. That's the sober, stone cold truth. America couldn't possibly be a profitable economy so therefore they need to print the money. What would GDP be from the last 4 years with no printed money? It would be a negative number. And the headlines would have scared the hell out of people, into cardiac arrest a long time ago, because 16 years of negative GDP would be the grandest depression we've ever been in. Right. And if you go count unemployment the old-fashioned way, it's 25%. That's what some economists show when you use the many hundred-year-long equation for calculating unemployment. Unemployment's 25%. What was it during the Depression? 25%. And if you look at the old-fashioned way of counting inflation, because we're being lied to, or the truth is obfuscated, if we don't want to be using such a harsh word as lying. But if they're saying inflation right now is something around 3%, if you count inflation the old-fashioned way, because it's a number for us, It says, what are the consumers' price index, the consumers, how well is their money working in the economy that these grand committees have created for us, right? It's 12%.
Right.
And if you look back to the year 2000, it's been averaging about 8% a year. Counted the old-fashioned way, not the politically approved way, pleasing way, the old-fashioned way. So your debt goes from 4 trillion to 35 trillion. Your dollar goes from 56 cents to 3, the buying power of it. Again, that's what we care about. You might hear out there, the dollar's the strongest currency on the planet. It's, maybe one goofy way to look at it, it's the strongest stinking currency on the planet. So it has a higher, trade value than the yen or the yuan or the euro. Well, the euro actually is stronger than the dollar. But from a utilization feature of using money, the buying power today, here's that last comparison. Today, if you wanted to go back in time and buy something that cost $1, like in the 40s, the 50s, you'd have to bring $33 with you to buy something that cost $1. Can you get your mind around the destruction of our money? That's inflation. That's how you actually look at it. What does my money buy for me today versus what did it used to buy for me? It's averaging 8% a year. So while this Niagara Falls amount of fake money just rips into our economy every day, unleashed by the Federal Reserve and the federal government, it causes asset values to fly higher, which causes us to think we have this great kick-ass economy. Sorry, I keep swearing today, but I'm just lifted, I'm just upset.